We welcome you back to the Richard Schwartz and Associates studio here on the Magnolia Fields podcast for our final segment. And it might be, if we want to take a look at Tanner real quick, it might be our favorite segment, or at least his favorite segment this entire season, this entire podcast, as we're going to take a look at Tisch County and Ripley.
Yes. Yes.
Tisch County 5-1, their first loss. Let's see that face one more time real quick. Just there it is. This is how he feels about this game.
And unfortunately, we had to pick this week because this is the 1 week of football season I will not be available. And it's sad. I'm sad.
Tisch County fans, what does that tell you?
I'm going to be at a Sturgill Simpson concert on Friday night, checking my phone for the updates on this game.
I think someone got a little scared.
I've had this booked since the summer. I have had this date marked off since the summer.
Well, friends, I know you were probably looking forward to giving Tanner all you could come Friday, but he will not be there, but we will. The Max South Sports Network will be there for the Tisch County Ripley Tigers game. 5-1, the Braves, 1-5, Ripley.
And no, nobody's getting flowers. Y'all got 51 hung on you. Nobody's getting flowers. 51 points.
Maybe they should bring you flowers.
Maybe they should.
So bring it to us and we can give it to you since you won't be there.
Yeah. 51 points. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness is right.
Oh, my goodness is right.
Well, they do get a Ripley team that has really struggled this year. 1-5, just not the year for Ripley. Obviously, when we talk about Ripley, we talk about their defense, and it just hasn't been there.
It hasn't. And
not like it usually is, at least.
You know, I talked to a contact of mine over in Tippah County about what the deal is with this Ripley team. And just, you know, I've heard several things. Some internal strife within the program. A bunch of players, or a few players, were asked to leave the team before the season started. They're also really young. We knew this team was going to have some offensive woes with Ty Long leaving, the quarterback. Now he's playing baseball at Southern Miss. You know, and that was one of the big offensive weapons for this Ripley team. And now that he's not there, it's just tough. This is, for the first time in my life, and obviously I haven't been on this earth an incredibly long time, going on 24 years, but for the first time in 24 years, Ripley may be the third best team in Tippah County, which is wild to say.
You know, Tanner, Tisch and Ripley have a couple of common opponents, or they have a common opponent thus far in the season. Do you know who that one opponent is?
That would be Kossuth.
It would. Do you remember what the score of the Kossuth-Tisch game was, right? 14-7?
Yeah, 14-7.
In overtime.
Yeah.
You know what the score of the Ripley-Kossuth game was?
14-0.
It was.
Yeah.
Does that give you any hope?
I mean, I think it tells me it's going to be it could be a close game on Friday. At this point, though, I just don't know how. And without being in the locker room, there's no way we can know this. I just don't know what the state of that Ripley locker room is right now, because this is, again, the worst they've been in a long, long time. And as a player, you kind of feel that kind of external pressure. And a lot of teams handle it one of two ways. They either fold underneath it, or they kind of stiffen their back and their neck because of it and go out and play the games that you can win with a little bit of extra edge. And make no mistake about it, this is a game that Ripley can win. And if you're in the position that they are, which is a down season, and you have to hope that Ripley is hungry for that extra win, to be able to boost that resume just a little bit, and maybe spoil Tisch's hopes at hosting a first-round playoff matchup.
It sounds like you're talking for yourself.
Well, I mean, I'm saying if that's the Ripley approach. And the Tisch approach has got to be, you know, you got embarrassed last week, point blank, on your home turf. You got to bounce back. You've got to bounce back. And you have a great chance to do so against a Ripley offense that has been non-existent.
Not only an offense that has been non-existent, but really a defense that has not been nearly what we have seen in years past. it's going to be tough for Ripley. I mean, especially against a team in Tisch County who can score. This season, Tishomingo County has scored 201 total points, has only allowed 108. You take away that Amory game, they're sitting just over 50 points all season long.
Yeah.
And then for Ripley, well, it's kind of bad. 54 points all season long. They average 9 points a game, and they have allowed 149 in the season. So
they've played some stiff competition too.
They have, but
I mean, you look, they played Choctaw County earlier this year and Caleb Cunningham, who we just finished talking about. But then they've played some teams that are not great. Kossuth, not great this year.
Which is the one win.
Yeah, Boonville, not great this year.
Against teams that are not great, like you just said, the win against Kossuth, they only lost by 3 to Boonville.
And
lost that one 18-15.
Yeah, and that one was on a last-second field goal. That was anybody's game.
And you've got other losses to Charleston, like you said, Choctaw County, Columbus, and then last week against Shannon.
Yeah, so Shannon, you want that one to be closer, obviously.
That was a 40-0 bowl game.
Yeah, you want that one to be a lot closer. And that's what makes me worry about kind of the state of this locker room. But you look at the Columbus game, you're going up and playing a 5A. Not a great 5A, but a 5A. And you look at the Charleston game, Charleston's always really good. Always got athletes all over the field. So I think this is a Ripley team that still has a little bit of hope to make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to host, but I think they've got a little bit of hope to make the playoffs. They'll have to travel to someone really good in round one. But if you go out and you beat Tisch, you're back in the conversation.
As we come to a close, will they beat Tisch? Who's your pick for this week?
Honestly, I think Tishomingo County can score the ball enough. I think they've got a good enough offense to go out and get 21 points. I think the benchmark in this one is going to be 21. It's going to be a race to 21. Who can get to 21 first? That's going to be your winner of this ball game. I think because Tishomingo can throw it around the yard a little bit, has a decent run game attack, and they're not playing athletes like they did last week against Amory, that combined with the fact that I think Tishomingo County's got some older players they can rely on, some senior leadership. I think Tisch wins this one by 1 or 2 scores. It's not going to be a blowout, but I see it being pretty low scoring, a 21-7, 21-14 type game.
That's exactly where I was going to. I was 21-14, 21-7, maybe 14-7. I'm thinking in that realm, but yeah, I think Tisch takes this one, and fortunately for them, maybe not for you, they should advance to 6-1.
Yeah. I mean, and if they don't, what's the conversation around Tishomingo County like?
I think that's a conversation you can have with them if that happens.
I agree. I'll be back by next Wednesday.
You'll be back before that.
That I will be. But yeah, I've got Tisch in this one, 21-14.
Yeah, I'll take 14-7 just for the sake of different scores, but I do have Tisch County as well.
Yeah. So hope you guys have a fun time. I know we've had a fun time here in the studio. That's it for this edition of the Magnolia Fields podcast from the Richard Schwartz and Associates Studios. We'll catch you up next week right here